All right, we're back again with another edition. Georgia with a bye week, so less stress, no stress viewing last Saturday. More dominoes continue to fall. Brian Kelly fired. Could have saw that coming. By the way, I just want to say I was right. Since we've been doing this podcast, I've been saying Brian Kelly is not a good fit at LSU. So I just want to take.
I think you said that he was not a good coach.
Yeah, well, he's not a good coach and he's not a good fit at LSU. All the same, if you're a good coach, you win at LSU. So, with everything given to you, so now that's LSU. I totally forgot about Arkansas. It just feels like Bobby Petrino is their head coach. Arkansas, Florida, LSU, probably going to be more, maybe.
Yeah.
In the SEC,
Oklahoma. Yeah.
Oklahoma. And then Saturday, right before Texas played, Dana Rossini, who's not a gotcha reporter, she is pretty credible, said that someone in Sark's camp said that he's interested in going to the NFL, and then he had to go out there and do his whole song and dance. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes to the NFL. So dominoes continue to fall. There's Penn State is open outside of the SEC. I still think Michigan's going to be open at the end of this year. Florida State obviously is going to make a change for sure. So there's a lot of coaches vacancies to be filled, and maybe Glenn Schumann can fit one of those. So.
Well, the interesting thing is, once upon a time, you take a look at like a Lane Kiffin or even a Eli, maybe not so much. But my point is the parity that you're seeing in college football makes it a lot less clear to me why a Cignetti from Indiana would jump to a. I'm just using that. I think Indiana's already re-upped him, I think, but. Why he would jump to a Penn State, because truly you can win just about anywhere. If you're in a Power 4 conference and you do a good job, you can pretty much win. So I'm not sure why you would want to jump from one place to another. And places like Florida that are chaotic and been underperforming, and I don't know what all is going down there. I'm not sure why a Lane Kiffin or some of these guys would want to leave and go down there. And I think and Hugh Freeze, that's another one. Why would anybody want to go to Auburn?
Oh, yeah, we forgot about that. Auburn's definitely going to be open. They have to make a move at this point.
I just don't understand why anybody would want to go to some. I mean, maybe I'm missing. I mean, obviously, you wave enough money in front of somebody, you can get them to leave. But it's some of these places that are notoriously hard, difficult places because of boosters or whatever, alumni. And then they've been underperforming, and your grace period, your honeymoon is what, a year and a half or 2 years at the most, because of what some coaches have done and how quickly they've turned around a program, i.e. Indiana, Georgia. I mean, not that we were ever down, but I don't know. I think it's going to be a real interesting off year, and the fact that these programs are doing it mid-year is also interesting timing. So everything's changing. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, everything is changing. Dan Lanning, I know, has been rumored for the LSU job. I got to tell you, I know you shake your head. He might not take it. I don't know. But to me, if I was Dan Lanning, I would take it.
I would not. Dude, you got Nike money. You got all the your national brand, all the recruits. You're going to be in on all the 4 and 5 star recruits. Expectations are not any. I mean, of course, Oregon has expectations, but not anything like what you're going to be down in Louisiana and Baton Rouge. And to me, and uprooting your family, he's got kids that are probably in high school now. I don't win at Oregon. You can win at Oregon, and I think quality of life has to be better. So I would make every argument for Dan. Now, a lot of what you're going to see too our coaches and their agents using this to get raises.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, which is smart, good for them. But I would be shocked if Lanning jumps from Oregon to go somewhere.
By the way, do you know what Kirby's buyout was? I just looked because I see all these huge numbers, and I saw Kirby's, and it was hilarious actually to think about how much it was.
$78 million.
No, it's $100 million.
Oh, okay. Well, good.
So, I think it would be kind of hard to. And by the way, that tells you that Kirby's not going. He's going to retire the Georgia coach because the school would have to buy that $100 million.
In his press conference, he did get that kind of tangentially that question about a coach coaching where they played, where they are alumni, if that changes things, if that makes it different. And Kirby, in his diplomatic answer, said there's pros and cons, but I think there's more pros than cons. For the most part.
I mean, look, let's talk about big picture. It kind of moves Brent Key. He's been rumored for a lot of these jobs. If I was Florida, or if I was, I don't know if LSU, but Penn State for sure, that would be one of the people I call. One of the
absolutely
people. I think he's done a really good job with Tech, and that's saying something. I mean, they're going to walk in Mercedes-Benz Stadium undefeated.
Probably, yeah.
I would say 98% chance that they're undefeated. And yes, the ACC's down. Yes, it's not. Their schedule's very weak. Yes, Georgia's going to be the best team that they play all year. But he's turned that program around where it was, it was dead basically.
Yeah.
And he turned that around. So that's someone I would look at. As we look down the road here, Georgia's bulk of their schedules are over with. The hardest games. Florida, that's always a weird one just because where it's at and the history behind it. Mississippi State, I don't know. I have nothing. I have no idea about Mississippi State. I watched them against Texas. They did not look good in that fourth quarter, but before that, they were unbelievable. So it's not a difficult place to play. It's an uncomfortable place to play, right? Starkville.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's going to be a noon game, so it's going to be sleepy, and you're just going to have to trudge through that one. It's not going to be pretty. And then you have Texas, Charlotte, and then Tech. So Georgia is going to be favored in every single one of these games. They should win every single game.
They should, but they could lose every single one of them.
Well, not every
That's the type of if you look at, I'm not saying they're going to go lose all the rest of their games. What I'm saying is any one of those games on the schedule, I could see Georgia dropping one of those games.
If I was going to put which out of the next three games, let's not put Tech because that's a whole different, right? That's a different ball of wax.
Mississippi State.
You say Mississippi State. See, no. I think it's this week. It's the boogeyman, man. It is really. I guess we'll talk about it. This game, the Auburn game, made me really worried. This game, matchups make fights. Florida matches up very well against Georgia. I've been saying it all year, and it's really it scares the bejesus out of me because the ball bounces funny down there. They got the interim head coach. This team has been in adverse situations. They have continued to fight. The one thing that Billy Napier did do right at Florida was the locker room culture. These guys fight for each other. They fight for their coaches. And this would be a big program win for them if they could pull this off. It's their defense is good too. It scares me.
Well, here's what I would say. I'm usually the one that is looking for reasons for Georgia to not come out, but there's absolutely no excuse. I agree with you. Napier, one thing I thought last year and even this year, they fought for him. But with the way NIL and kids are right now, all these kids are looking at, they don't know who the new head coach is going to be. They don't know where they're going to be. The coaches, I know as hard as you try to compartmentalize, they're thinking about what their futures are going to be. My point is this. If Georgia can do something that they've only done rarely, which is to come out quick and jump on them, I think they can make this team quit. And I truly do believe they can come out, because if we pop them in the nose, I just don't know how much fight this program is going to have left in them. I could be proven wrong, but I don't think so. Not the way I think they were fighting hard for Napier, but once he lost his job, they'll come out with some piss and vinegar because it's a rivalry game. But if we withstand that and take the momentum before halftime and put our a knee across their throat, I think we can choke them out early in the third quarter. That's my hope, and I do think that can happen easily.
I don't know. Everything that Florida does well is the opposite of what we do well. So they can control. They can't stop the run, and Georgia's bread and butter has been the run game on offense, and I worry about that. Now, pressure-wise, they're not putting a lot of pressure. They're not a very good pass defense, which scares me even more. But we have to be able to run the ball here. And I'll tell you another thing. Florida didn't use – I like that Bog kid. I hate saying it. It doesn't feel good to say that I like a Florida player. But – I like that running back that they got. He's tough as nails, and he runs hard. I think he's
from Georgia. He came from Georgia.
Georgia.
I think it's Campbell High School. I'm pretty sure he played over in
here?
DeKalb County. So maybe it's not Campbell.
Okay. So I like him a lot. I don't think DJ Lagway's a good quarterback. But they can run the ball well. They have guys on the outside. Wilson is a dude. McCray, another one. They got dudes on the outside, and they just make me enough nervous. I don't expect Georgia to lose this game. I expect this game to be tighter. And I think Vegas thinks so, too, given the point spread.
Clearly, yeah. Which kind of surprised me.
Well, here's the thing. Is that Vegas adjusting the lines to Georgia, or are they adjusting the lines because of how close all these SEC games have been?
That could be it, too. I don't know. But I would think a program that just lost their coach, that hasn't won this game in a while, right? I would think that their point spread would be double digits, but, and it's supposed to be a neutral game. So
That's another thing going into this game. How many Florida people take that trip? Like, is it going to be more Georgia people than there are Florida people?
I don't know, because they bust the students in from campus, so I'm sure the kids will take a bus ride down there. I don't know. But I would imagine interest is probably waning for this year, so I would expect Georgia to have a strong, so it can probably be 60-40, something like that.
I mean, they are a basketball school, so and it's basketball season, so it's time to move on, time to pivot. But yeah, everything about this game scares me. I can just see. I've seen it way too many times where the better team goes in there and loses. It's happened a lot, especially on the Georgia side of it. It's happened a lot. So it worries me. But again, the one thing that does make me feel good about going into this game, especially this game, this rivalry, is how much Kirby hates Florida and the burning desire he has to just humiliate them at any point in time.
And he liked Billy Napier.
Yeah, he did like Billy Napier too. That's true. So it does make me feel better whenever I put my head on my pillow at night, knowing that Kirby has the same hatred and burning desire as I do about Florida. So that part makes me feel good. But this is, I don't know, because if Georgia treats this like any other game, I can see this being very tight till about the fourth quarter, and we're white knuckling it down the stretch.
Well, that would be, I wouldn't expect anything different from this team. But it, if I were looking at it, and I would never do this, but if I were a betting person, I would take Georgia and give up the points. I believe Georgia's. I just have a feeling Georgia's going to. Kirby's coming off a bye. One of the things that he did say in his press conference, they asked him, and he's 100% correct. Anybody that watches the games know. I anticipate Georgia's tackling on defense to be monumentally better, and specifically the defensive backs. And I expect the eye discipline of our linebackers. Kirby's had 2 weeks to harp on this shit going into Florida. My guess is a lot of the stuff that we saw against Ole Miss and some of the early, I think all this stuff, if we don't, here's a big thing. If we see a lot of the fundamental mistakes, especially on defense, I'm going to not talk about offense, but if we don't see better tackling, if we don't see better eye discipline by our linebackers, and not getting sucked in like they have been pretty much all year long. And by the way, that poor tackling goes to the linebacker, C.J. Allen. That means getting in the right spot. The reason you're missing tackles is you're not in the right spot a lot of times. So he's not the only one, but it's been surprising. So if we don't see tackling get better, if we don't see when the ball's in the air on the deep ball, especially if we still see defensive backs not turn around and finding the ball and some of the fundamentals, I'm not saying we're going to be great at stopping the run. I'm not going to say we're going to be a great defense. But if we can just do the fundamentals better, that's what I'm looking for. And if we can't, that's going to end up biting Georgia. If it's not this game against Florida, it'll be against Mississippi State or against Texas. Our Tech, if we don't get better on defense, this team is going to lose another game. But I expect, with 2 weeks and a bye week, I expect a lot of that stuff to be cleaned up and to be improved. I don't expect it to be great. I expect it to be improved. If it's not, I'm going to be disappointed.
Well, I mean, look, we had a bye week before Alabama, and everything that we worried about during the Tennessee game wasn't really cleaned up. So, I don't know. I don't know. I think this team is just what they are, and we're just gonna. I have to accept that.
I'm not.
Something differently.
Well, I have an expectation that fundamentals of football, which Kirby and that coaching staff know, I expect those to get better. If they don't, I would expect some people getting switched out on defense. I really mean it. And I would say the one thing to your comment about Alabama, true, but they've had a lot more game experience. These guys have been thrown into the deep end of the pool in some pretty hostile environments. So you hope that some of that experience and some of the shit the coaches were saying that maybe they sloughed off because I'm a 5-star Ellis Robinson, maybe you listen to a little bit more now because you've been burnt and you've been embarrassed a couple of times. So don't know. We'll see. That's what makes this great.
Yeah, and I honestly, I just want to be able to get pressure on the quarterback.
I'm not. You notice I didn't say that. Yeah, I don't think that's whenever you say this team is what it is. I would go back to your statement there. This team is what it is. I don't think you can expect that. But listen, dude, if we can tackle on third, and if we can get teams in third and long, and then actually make a tackle, or break down and get a quarterback on the ground, Chris Cole, instead of letting him run for a touchdown when you're there, those things negate a lot of the heartburn that we've had with this defense gets corrected if we can fundamentally do the things right, like tackle. I don't think we're going to change somebody's if they don't have a pass rush, if they can't either speed rush or bull rush, or they can't get there, I don't expect that's going to be changed midseason. Right? If somebody's not strong enough to stop the run, I don't expect that to change mid-season. What I do expect is the fundamentals and being in the right position to make a tackle and then to actually get them on the fucking ground. I expect that to get better.
Yeah, I don't know. I would hope that they've been working on the pass. If they come out with a pass rush, I'm going to feel really good about our chances of the rest of the way.
Well,
I
me
don't
me
think
and you
that's going to
both.
happen, but I'd like, and also, I would like to see like Quintavious Johnson out there, Isaiah Gibson, Mendoza has been completely missing. You need to
Well,
start
they're not out there for a reason, though. Then, right? I
they're
mean,
young. They're young, and that's what Kirby. It's annoying what Kirby does because like fucking Chaz Chambliss gets playing time over Jalen Walker. It just doesn't make sense. And then you see Jalen Walker his last year at Georgia just own everybody. It was so annoying. It's so annoying what he does. It pisses me off so much what Kirby does on defense, where seniority leads the way.
well, I think it's understanding the defense and understanding where you're supposed to be and doing your job consistently instead of being flashy. And
Sure.
Kirby will take four efforts of our jobs of an 88 versus two of a 98 and then three of a 66, and that's what the experience. But I would also say that's what makes the culture at Georgia. The practices matter. If those guys were doing what they needed to do consistently in practice, then they would be seeing more of the field. So I got no problem with it. But what I do have is the people that are on the field, if they're that far out of position, what the fuck are we seeing in practice? Because, geez whiz, we've missed a lot of tackles, primarily from being out of position.
Well, I want to know what happened between summer camp and fall camp, because all I heard about was how good this defense was leading up into the season, and then the first two games they looked decent, and then it just all fell apart against Tennessee. And I thought it was kind of an anomaly because of Tennessee's offense, and maybe we just are not where we need to be in certain positions, and that's why we got there. No, that's been a consistent theme throughout the year. And I just don't know what happened there, because all I heard about from all the reports were how great this defense was.
Can I just and I have no idea if I'm right, but I'm gonna posit a theory. The reason you heard a lot about this team being really good on defense is it does have a ton of potential. If you look at the defensive backs and the linebackers of this team in 4 and 5 star talent on paper, they're massive, right? And so probably when you're in fall camp, you practice a lot of fundamentals. And so tackling and stuff like that gets covered a lot during fall camp. So that's number one. Number two, as you get in season, those fundamentals, you go a lot more into game planning and prep, and some of those fundamentals don't get focused on as much, and those get exposed during the game, and we're just trying to get the guys in the right spot, which they don't understand the defense well enough. So I'm just thinking it's a yin and yang whenever you first get started, 4 and 5 star, really focusing on the fundamentals of tackling, they look pretty good. Now all of a sudden you quit focusing on fundamentals and you focus more on game film. These guys are still trying to understand the defense, and that's why they're out of position. So I don't know if that's any of that's accurate or not, but I can see how that could be the case. But if that continues, I don't give a fuck how many stars they got behind their names. If they can't tackle to the ground, we're going to get beat and miss as many tackles as we've missed.
And here's the other thing about this game. Florida hasn't scored over 23 points except one time. That was against Texas. Unless somebody in that building was being suppressed by Billy Napier and had great ideas on how the offense was supposed to work, I'm not so sure about. They're going to have to score 30 to win, right? You would agree with that?
Probably, yes. Yes, I would agree with that.
So they're going to have to score 30. Do they have the capability of doing it? I don't really know, because they've only done it. I don't even think they scored 30 against Texas. Maybe they did. I don't know, but they haven't scored over 23 except one time. That was against Texas. I do know that. So What?
The one thing I would add to that gives me a little bit of pause is a lot of people that are Florida fans and insiders. They said one of the reasons that Florida's offense suffered and couldn't get going is because Napier was calling plays the lag way, and they were overly complicated, and it was taking too long, and so there was no rhythm. And so one of the things now that they're doing is speeding that up, and so I expect Florida to go with more tempo and probably I don't know if that has any bearing on it, but you could see that. But to me, to go back to what you were saying, if we can hold them to 17 points and under, Georgia should win this game, and I don't see any reason with the disruption and Georgia should be able to hold them to 17 points and under. That's my full expectation.
Yeah, and I mean, I look at last year's game. But again, it took what? Carson Beck threw how many interceptions that game?
I don't know. I don't know. That's his middle name, I think.
Ugly game, and they had their backup quarterback from Yale or something. Wasn't it was an Ivy League Brown maybe? Princeton?
I can't
remember, but it was an Ivy League school. Lagway got hurt on like the first or second drive. It was just an ugly, weird game. I've completely memory hold it. I don't remember anything about it other than we won. And I think Dalen Everett, or was it Dalen Everett knocking the shit out of that Florida wide receiver there?
I don't remember.
But yeah,
I remember
exactly.
the picks.
And the picks were it was hard. That game was hard to watch. So as long as we can, control the line of scrimmage, control the ball, not turn it over, not do anything stupid, and let Florida kind of hang themselves with their own rope, which they're really good at. They've been known to do that for quite some time. Georgia should be a-okay, but this is a white knuckle game for me. I'm just going to put it white knuckle. They're going to be. This game's never going to get where it's comfortable, where it's 17 plus points. That's going to happen way later if that does happen. It's not going to be any time in the first three quarters.
Well, I know we're not picking, but I'll hold off on telling you what my final prediction is.
Well, okay, yeah, we'll pick that Thursday. All right. Anything else that we want to talk about before we go?
Not from my side.
The playoff rankings, I think, come out today. I think they come out today. The first one doesn't really matter. It'll be interesting to see what the committee does. Alabama should be the number one team in the country.
Totally agree.
I mean, if we're going to base it off of actual playing, Alabama has the most ranked wins with 4, and Georgia has second with 2. So, and everyone else has 1. So, as long as Georgia kind of stays above the fray, they should be okay and get to the playoff. There's one other thing I wanted to say, and I totally forgot. Oh, Texas Vanderbilt. I didn't know that Vanderbilt and Texas played this week.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
That's the lead up into our game. That's a massive game. That's both of them have
Yeah.
on the line.
Yeah, and where are they playing?
I think they're playing in Austin.
Okay, well, I wouldn't be totally shocked if Vandy puts it on them.
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't be either.
I don't think Texas is that good.
No, I don't either. Oh, real quick before we go. Fuck Kirk Herbstreit. I almost fucked your name up. I hate your fucking dogs. I hope every single one of them dies. Just like Ben, like a really bad cancer.
Jeez.
Seriously, it's the only thing he cries about. So maybe that'll hurt him a little bit. But the negative recruiting against Georgia with 5-star quarterbacks. This is back-to-back times now.
He did it with Raiola, yeah.
And then now he's doing it with Jared Curtis on College Game Day is ridiculous. If I was Kirby, I would never go on that show again, not even if Saban begged me. That guy, I hate him a lot.
Well, since we're going to be on this subject and we're going to end here, I don't like him either. I don't wish anything canine companions, but I don't like him, and I think the fact that we are abdicating all kinds of power to make him Mr. College Football, and ESPN specifically, and him as well, is a real problem, and people don't call that shit out. And when he does stuff like that and then just yucks it off like, yeah, who am I, and then defends himself, he reminds me. I tell you who I would like to, like they used to do, like the Vikings, when they stick people on fucking ships and just kick them out in the middle of the ice. I'd like to do that to Herb Street and Rich McKay for the Falcons. Those two people could be on the same fucking boat together. They are almost the same people. Yuck, yuck, and well, this, and I don't have any responsibility. I'm just a da-da-da. Oh, you fuckers. You want all the power, but yet none of the accountability, and you run your fucking mouths, and I don't like him. I don't, and I also don't like the power that ESPN has been granted or bought. And then everybody pays attention. And the College Game Day, by the way, everybody gets a fucking giant hard on whenever they come to their campus. Well, I tell you what, y'all go somewhere else. I don't care nothing. I can't watch that show. I'm
not a big McAfee guy. I never have been.
The WWE element that he brings to it is not my thing. And then if Nick Saban happens to say fart over there and Desmond Howard has a conniption fit, don't worry about Dave Chappelle being the greatest comedian. Just get Nick Saban in front of Desmond Howard. He thinks he's a big hoot. He was a hoot all those years. He kicked our ass. Well, anyway.
Here's the other thing, too. Like, Herb Street has a podcast. He's interviewing Marcel Reed, and he's pushing, like, Saturday night, he was pushing for Marcel Reed to win the Heisman. Come to find out, Marcel Reed went to the same high school as Kirk Herbstreit's kids did, and they were friends with Marcel Reed.
And he never discloses any of that, right?
No, he doesn't say it at all. It was completely news to me whenever I saw that on my phone.
Just the lack of genuineness and then doing that kind of stuff and then acting like an altar boy after you get called out on it. And it is so I don't like the guy. I don't think he's a good character guy, but that's my opinion.
I've also heard he's a major asshole behind the scenes.
And whenever he didn't even acknowledge Will Muschamp, whenever he fucking fumbled down on the goal line, that I ain't ever forgot that. We don't forget down here, Herb Street, you bitch.
Yeah, I just dislike him in a lot of ways. And then also talking about disliking, I would take Herb Street over. We have Joe Tessitore, who makes a punt in the first quarter feel like it's a punt late in the fourth quarter of the Super Bowl. And then Jesse Palmer, who played at Florida, they're announcing the game. It just, what are we doing?
Well, I asked this question a couple of weeks ago, and it's not just Herb Street and that Fowler, but it's every ESPN product now. I have to turn the volume down to listen to the games. I just can't. I can't listen because you don't know shit, and you state the obvious. And evidently, it seems to me like maybe it's because Georgia's not playing all that great all the time, but it seems like they are actively pulling against us.
Because they pull for the storyline, and the storyline is the top program in college football is losing to a team that is not expected to beat them. They love that. And then I was there. I called that game. Blah, blah, blah. And Tessitore's the worst, dude. He just that's why he got fired from Monday Night Football. He makes the biggest moment is a fucking first down in the first quarter, and it was a 2-yard gain. I mean, it is hyperbolic. Yes, hyperbolic. It is. It's annoying. I just wish there was a broadcast for sound, ambience. Ambient. That's the word.
I think you can turn the sound down, which is what I do most of the time.
I've gotten better at just ignoring it, but Tessitore is one of those guys who, like that, and it gets in my brain. It stays there. I can't stand him. awful. Anyway, on that note, I got nothing else. We'll be back Thursday. We'll do a quick one with our picks. I have gone through and I have looked at least 2 weeks of our picks. I'll continue to do more, so that way we have some sort of record. But so we'll keep track of that. I'm gonna reveal it at the end of the year. It's better if we're just blind about it, because then I'll start doing stupid things with picks just to get in front.
All right.
I'm pretty sure I'm losing. I started doing the math in my head. I'm definitely losing. Just the last 2 weeks, I've been getting my ass handed to me. So remember to like and subscribe. Comment why you hate Kirk Herbstreit or why you hate Joe Tessitore. I would agree with you. Thumbs up on your comment if you do.
Or why you hate us.
Yeah, or why we're stupid and dumb. Why we should stop doing this. And then follow us on social media on X, formerly Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Terminus Sports _ATL. Keep those followers up. Viewership's been up, so we appreciate everybody. And see you on the other side.
See ya.